Hello everyone. This is going to be an oracle for the first full moon that we have in 2021. We have a full moon in Leo that is happening in late January. And I would like to connect to the divine, the ascended masters, my higher self, to uncover the sacred message for everyone who will watch this video. What changes are happening for the collective with this full moon Leo? What changes are happening for the collective? What changes are happening for the collective for this full moon Leo? So my intention is pure, my intention is clear. My intention is to connect to the Ascended Masters, to receive guidance, insight that is inspirational and empowering, that can provide mind, body, and soul peace, breakthrough, excellence, and victory. Changes are happening for the collective with this full moon Leo. We're transitioning out of the darkness. Things will be exposed because they must, in order for us to recover our integrity so that we can move forward in a balanced way. It is time for humanity to shift out of survival mode and move into the human soul by becoming resilient, a powerhouse, and shameless towards growth and towards spiritual awakening. Now is humanity's time to decide the future outcome, to decide the timeline that humanity wants to walk. There are new leaders coming into position, and these new leaders present philosophies, ideas, a way of life, a creativity, a transmission that will help many human beings to move away from toxicities, dysfunctionality, and suppression, and move more into a state of mindfulness, courage, and dignity. It is time for humans to create, to remember the Creator within themselves, and to not fear the changing times, the crises that always is. To allow the crises that always is to be a reminder that death is an experience that everyone will have. Life is precious. Move through life in pursuit of growth, in pursuit of evolution of the person, the relationship. It is important to follow the intuition and preserve the humanness. Preserve the humanness. For the humanness may be challenged by things that wish to strip the human soul and input artificial connections to the planet, to the mind, and to the universe. Share the creativity, collaborate, join, Find the community, find the tribe. And the timeline of future Earth will be quite exceptional, quite excellent, full of immense growth, quantum leaps, and a renaissance that is created by the pioneers who are willing to walk forward into the mystery, into the new age, with a sense of vision and a sense of clarity. So that is a message by a galactic being who's a part of the Galactic Confederation that wanted to channel a message for the overall collective. What changes are happening for the collective for this full moon, Leo? There's great blessings and great fortune for those who are awakening and those who are following the path of the highest timeline, the positive future, where all trauma and karmas of the past can be neutralized and transformed by the sheer will and willingness to grow, to recognize, to purify, to move forward. There's great rebirth for many human beings. Great rebirth that is both challenging, difficult, and maybe painful. For humans who have gotten very attached to certain ways of living that does not support their movement into higher vibrations. Many people are being asked to make choices that require them to adapt to the new earth frequencies. And that means retrieving the integrity and starting to look at how we can live more with energy and a life force. There's so much creativity that is awaiting our arrival, awaiting our awakening, so that it can come through and so that it can start to bring great progress, moving humanity in the direction of the highest timeline. Do not focus on the agendas, endless agendas of opposing forces, duality, those that wish to keep humanity in the old paradigm of this patriarchal age. With the awakening of humankind, the whole past of the patriarchal age will be deconstructed and reformed with new leaders, new lineages that are going to have a spiritual leadership, a spiritual wisdom, a spiritual teaching that presents ideas of human progress. Do not fall into the discouragement ideas such as too far gone, I can't do it, it's too hard. There's immense support that is surrounding everyone who is willing to go through the awakening. And this support will create immense miracles, healing, and protection. Because the planet Earth is in need of awakened human beings who are able to shed the ways of the past and to invite in something very special, very precious inside, within. ideas, philosophy, creativity that belongs to a futuristic version of ourselves. One that is not of destruction or chaos, mayhem, but one of victory. So wherever you are at in your journey of life, the difficulties, the hardships, connect to the spiritual teachings, the spiritual leaders. Connect to the spirituality within you, your own sovereign mind, and see if you can uncover your talents and gifts that can set you free of restrictions, limitations, judgment, shame, and mind manipulation. Allow the renaissance of your desire, your wanting, your yearning, to push you forward, to encourage you to take necessary risks that'll help you to step more fully into the Aquarian age. For everybody is going to enter in the Aquarian age. Nobody will be left behind. Everybody will be making it into this new paradigm. But it will require immense collaboration, community effort, teamship, and a willingness to move beyond the fears, the anxieties, and the competitions of the patriarchal age. It is important for humanity to seek refuge in something that has authenticity and substance. To seek refuge in ideas and philosophies that bring creativity, that is supporting of the Dharma, supporting of the growth, the progress of self and other. Humanity is doing great. Humanity is moving forward. Humanity is taking the challenges and the crises that always is and do the best it can to revolutionize slowly and steadily, gradually and yet most intensely. And as more people become shameless and more people decide to live with vitality and life force, live with intuition, live with insight, and live with creativity that is very liberational, and creativity that is extraordinary, there's going to be so much generational victory through the generation that is now here on this planet. And if we continue on this path of awakening, of emotional and spiritual maturity, allowing ourselves to follow that leadership, we will be able to restructure the planet, clear out the poison that is lurking in the mind, the subconscious, many people that are wrapped up into, clean out the waste, the pollution, the chemicals, to clean out the false prophets and mind deception and manipulation, and to kind of transmute or move everything into the open for it to be exposed, so that I can start to take in this fresh air, take in movements that bring a sort of courage, that bring an awareness to how we can become more authentic in who we are, and follow that authenticity exercise that authenticity and start to remain true to that authenticity regardless of the hardship or difficulties, the comparisons, the judgments, competitions, and to start to take care of that authenticity, start to nurture it, start to align with it, start to shape the mind, the body, so that it's in its mirror reflection, to go inside and to see how can we create space, acceptance, and allow ourselves to be able to let this sort of inner authenticity to come out, to be shared in a way that is of our own legacy, of our own success. Because taking back the power of the people, many people are starting to recognize the law of attraction, manifestation, and one's own ability to be successful, as all the discouragement, discrimination, racism, hierarchical caste system, all of the systematic blockages that have put brigades in the human mind, separating the human mind from its sovereignty, is being broken down, because people are using sheer life force to break it down. But humanity will require protection as things get exposed and things get brought into its integrity, either in a way that is seeming intense or gentle. Humans can find refuge in this place in authenticity. Humans can find refuge in their community, their tribe, and just their own intuition, their own creativity, their own self-expression, and allow these higher dimensional beings, ascended masters, to take care of the rest. So we'll see from the cards. So the Ace of Swords with the full moon, Leo. Clear communication. We're getting more decisive. We're getting more clear about where we want to be in 2021, collectively, individually. We're starting to speak our truth, and we're starting to not be afraid of the truth. We're no longer being dragged down. We're no longer being held down. We're no longer allowing the density or the sort of brigades or the seeming of the things that are separating us from being able to share this truth with each other. We're allowing ourselves to speak the truth to each other more and more. We're breaking through. As you can see that his arm with the sword has broken through the waters. So if we have been sort of drowning in our emotions, drowning in our feelings in this whirlwind, this caught in this undercurrent of emotions, we're going to break through. We're going to breach. And the sword can also bring about a clarity, exposure, bring about fairness, being very clear with ourselves, deciding to be honest with ourselves. This can also be about communications, that we are going to open up our throat chakra. We're also going to be opening up our heart and have a greater sense of sharing ourselves vulnerably, but in a way that actually brings breakthrough, where we're sharing ourselves in such a way where we actually feel relief, but a relief that is so compassionate and it's so honoring of the change that is coming through. And the Ace of Swords is also about swift changes. As we move forward into this year after this particular full moon, we're going to see more swift changes. We're going to see more ideas coming through, breaking through. that have a particular quality, an extraordinary quality or extraordinary kind of transmission that is going to really bring so much relief to the human mind, and it's going to bring so much it's going to bring there's going to be such a desire to want to awaken the mind for humanity moving forward in 2021, because I'm hearing lies, deception, there's so much mind manipulation and just confusion for a lot of people. Many people are confused on this planet. Many people are confused. Some people feel like they're very lost. It's like they're lost to all of like the noise. There's just so much. It's confusion, and people feel very caught in it. It's like they're trying to dig themselves through all of this this information or this noise, and they're seeking for something that actually brings the mind to peace, that brings the mind to a state of intuition, a state of sovereignty, a state of being able to transcend or to move beyond the duality, the constant fighting. I'm seeing a yard. It's almost, I don't know, it's like a graveyard where there's just all this noise, fighting, this conflicting and opposing, and it's just restless. So people are going to start to be guided to channels or inspirations or transmissions that bring us sort of the mind to a state of equilibrium, or the mind to a state of calm, so that in that state of mind calm, there can be something that of authenticity, something of real sort of wisdom can actually come through. There's a seeking for wisdom with the full moon in Leo, and sharing this, but also kind of develop this and remembering that it's already inside. It's just a matter of fact of having the shameless kind of relationship with it. Not being afraid to shed light on the dark parts of you. Because I'm seeing the light, the sunrise happening, or the sunset, and I'm just seeing the clouds, and I'm seeing this murky water, right? The water seems dark. It's like, do not be afraid to turn on the light within the darkness in you. And don't be afraid to be able to purify, to face these things. Do not let these dark things, or it could be entities, it could be memories, it could be even people. Do not be afraid to face these things and to make a decision to compassionately let it go, so that you can continue to move forward, so that you're no longer bound or tied to something that keeps you in this murk of yourself. It's okay to want to seek new beginnings, to be reborn, because the Ace of Swords is like a new opportunity, a new beginning. And the way you think, your perception is going to change. The way you view love, or the way you view, I'm hearing intimacy. I'm hearing the way that you view intimacy, vulnerability, what it means to be, your perception of a woman, a perception of a man. All of that is being changed, because there's some kind of awakening that's happening to the mind, where we're starting to look at things differently. We're starting to want more peace in the mind and more clarity. No longer do we want to just settle for restless thoughts in the mind, or noise, or just chatter, or gossip, or drama. There's a sense of really wanting to, I'm seeing, connect to the sunset. Going into the sunset, going into the sunrise, and just kind of allowing that kind of pull to be authentic, or that pull to really kind of see yourself, to really be aware of yourself without fear. A lot of times we don't even see ourselves because we're looking away. We look ourselves in the mirror, but we're not really looking at ourselves. We're just looking at the face, the appearance, but we're not really looking at ourselves. We're not really looking into our eyes and really seeing the kind of shape of the eye, the kind of patterns in the eyes, the kind of lifetimes that created these eyes, the kind of karma that created these eyes, the kind of childhood that created these eyes. And by doing that, and by really looking into our eyes and seeing that kind of window into the karmas, the lifetimes, the childhood, and making a choice to not fear the memories, the what coming through, the patterns, the habits, even if it's full of mistakes, full of things that feel of trauma. When we look at it, and we really look at it from a place of authenticity, we're actually being able to bring refuge to it, rehabilitate it through our own parenting of ourselves. We have the sun, so much brightness, so much light, the sunflower, right? The sun. There's so much, it's like real sense of clarity. Like it's a real sense of like, wow, like epiphany. It's a real sense of clarity that's happening this full moon Leo, where a lot of people, like I was talking about reborn, like if we've been in the darkness, in this kind of murky water, right? Like just kind of in this swampiness, we're going to be coming out of this through speaking our truth, in a way that is really vulnerable but really courageous, in such a way that it's actually, we're exposing ourselves in a way that actually is aligning with our integrity and aligning with our willingness to grow into, you can say, make peace or to mediate where we've been, what's gone down. There's so much, just, you see this baby's naked. It's like we're coming out naked. We're coming out clear. There's something about the nakedness, the raw form, the raw body, right? Intimacy. When you think of someone naked, you're thinking of intimacy, right? A naked man, a naked woman. There's something about being naked, and something about allowing yourself to be seen for who you are. That nakedness, being raw and real. There's something very naked that wants to come through with this full moon Leo, like really being naked. And you see the horse is representing the strength in being naked. So the horse is a sort of like, we think of an animal totem that represents to be very strong, strong-willed, but also to be strong in your physical form. So we're going to feel a lot stronger in our physical form when we are mentally starting to feel more that we are taking risks with the mind, with ideas, or even perception that is actually giving us just this freedom of the mind, and allowing ourselves to face whatever entities, dark energies, or whatever we call it, to just simply be. Something that our movement is moving through, and deciding to move it out. So there's just so much sun, right? The sun is coming up, the sun. So I feel for a lot of people, the full moon Leo, people are going to start to get positive news. There's positive news, that news is coming in for the collective. It could also be inspiration, feeling very inspired to move forward. It could also be about, I'm hearing Valentine's Day with February. I'm also hearing I'm hearing Black Lives Matter, but I'm also seeing February with the sort of beauty of the black person is what I'm getting, that there's like a celebration of that. This has to do with like generational sort of breakthrough that's been wanting to have within the Black community. And there's something about this sort of celebration of Black culture that is going to bring so much healing for the planet, and so much healing for the ancestors, the generations that have walked before, this generation now. But I'm seeing also, we're going to start through becoming naked and through really speaking our truth, and really asking the universe what we truly want, not just what we want, but what we truly want, coming from a place of like vibration, right? Through affirmation, through spiritual growth, we're going to start to be magnetically drawn to people. I'm also seeing social, being magnetically drawn to people that are going to be coming in, that are going to be magnetically drawn to us because they want to, because I'm seeing this lyre instrument, which is like a Greek instrument, very ancient. And I'm just seeing a sense of when we start to get more in rhythm with ourselves, in a way of speaking our truth, or speaking from a place of clarity, not a place of confusion, right? A place of wanting to really take accountability for the mind and for your projection that you're putting out into the world. and really looking at your projection and seeing, okay, is the projection I'm putting on the world through my mind, is this one that's actually giving me a creativity? Is this giving me like the kind of experience, or a greater experience that is going to really motivate me or empower me to even go even further, deeper? So there's something about the being magnetically drawn. There's a radiance that's happening that's drawing people together. The radiance, because I'm seeing something about March and April. There's going to be so much celebration for these people, these who resonate with this, with the sun card. When the sun's coming up, right, in the summertime, there's just going to be such a celebration, because I feel like people are going to be coming together with other people in a sense of teamship, or in a sense of collaboration, or it could even be a sense of protest. But it's a sense of wanting to kind of shed light on things, again, shedding light on ourselves, but also on things in the world that are wanky. It's like a wanky sword, and in kind of using the iron, right? When you hit, you heat the iron, right, and you hit it, so you get all the wankiness, right? There's little knots and things, and you have to hit it with high temperature, and then with that real heavy hammer, right? If we're like a silverman, I think it is called. So in doing so, it's like we're really wanting to take the wankiness out of ourselves, but also out of our society, in a way of doing it through putting pressure, like the heat, right, and the hammer. It's not through competition, right? It's not through a competitive nature that is warlike. It's always in comparison. It's always in a state of like survival that leads to jealousy, or leads to not enough, that kind of thing, the lack. This is coming from a place of real raw inspiration, that inner child, that extraordinary part of ourself, that there's something about being shameless, practicing that's the most authentic teaching that's been taught, even way before Jesus Christ. The shameless, and what does it mean to be shameless? And dissect that, understand that, or go into that, journal that out. Let it be a book you write about shameless, and what does that mean for yourself and for other people? Like when you see someone who's shameless, does that mean non-judgment? Does that mean that you really you don't care about what people think about you? Or do you care about what people think about you, but in a way where you're not so harsh about yourself? You're not taking things personally. Is that what it means? Where you're not taking things personally. So there's something about the sun where we're like shameless and we're not taking things so personally. Or there's some kind of, recognition. We're giving ourselves recognition, or we are receiving recognition. For some people, good news. I'm just seeing a lot of communication about good news that's coming in, that's going to really help us move forward. And this is all about our projection, about I'm hearing the mind, again, going back to the mind, projection that we set out. And because of that inner work, or that where we've, journaled out, got authentic, even honest with ourselves, that kind of projection that happened, that is now put out into the world, we're starting to get a response. Good news about even relocation, businesses, deals, contracts, arrangements, job opportunities. It's just all across the board. There's good news coming in for all kinds of different people. And it really has to do because of the ability to have that shameless, to not be afraid to ask for something that you really want. And I'm not talking about what you really want based off of a survival, off of a competition, off of a jealousy, off of a sort of superficial. I'm talking about, is this going to get me a deeper creative connection, a greater creative transmission? Is this going to get me more of a practice of my dharma? Is this going to get me more of an emotional maturity? Is this really going to expand me in ways where I can really express myself in a way that actually feels really original, like fresh, naked, something that is pulling something out of nothing. That kind of expansion. The last card, we have the Ten of Cups. The Ten of Cups is about the overall fulfillment. It's like family, it's about love, it's about happiness. I don't know, there's some grand happiness that's happening for this full moon Leo for various people. And again, if this doesn't resonate, it's not your projection, okay? Meaning you didn't, you're not this isn't kind of this isn't your karma, okay? And that's fine, right? We all have kind of, different places that we're in. So I feel like with the Ten of Cups, there's a sense of completion about family, a sense of like people are getting clear about their family, getting clear about who they want to be with, who they don't want to be with, friends, family, co-workers, even jobs, employers, employees. And I feel like people are starting to value more personal relationships and starting to want to come together more with the tribe, more getting involved in their community, more of collaborating with like-minded people. This has a lot to do with being with like-minded people and wanting to there's a sense of having an emotional maturity through really sharing yourself intimately with other people and getting clear, right? Your truth, clearing, the wankiness and not allow, about your discernment. It's like, I will not put up with this. This is my discernment. These are my boundaries. I am worthy to be seen in a way where I am, respected. Because the Ace of Swords is very well respected, but it's also very accountable, right? So the Cups, I'm also seeing like no longer being afraid to love or to be love or to really want to connect to the love frequency, really wanting to move beyond the judgment, move beyond childhood wounds, move beyond conditionings from parents, friend groups, whatever it may be, and start to move more into just a natural, primal human nature, which is sex, intimacy, friendship, love. And we get it back to the basics, but when we really get back to the basics in such a way, that's just going to bring so much, I'm hearing renewal, like vitality. I'm also seeing sacred sexuality. I'm hearing healing sex. I'm talking about people want to get back to the primal basics and really start to heal their root chakra, which has to do with being connected to the earth, being connected to your tribe, being connected to wisdom of the land that you live on. And when you do that, when you have a pretty developed root chakra, it actually makes you more wealthy just in your manifestation, your ability to attract. Because you're grounded in something that has substance. You're not floating around through the ethers or through the astral realm or whatever with all this, just through a bunch of noise and confusion and just kind of confused, right? We're really getting back to the basics. So what else is this full moon changes for the full moon Leo? What is the collective change? What changes? I just feel this is a blessing for the awakening that's happened in 2020 for many people. There's great blessings. I'm hearing March, April. Such great blessings, especially for creativity, because there's such an opening for the planet to really go into the Aquarian age now, not tomorrow, now. That those who are really kind of stepping it up and going into that Aquarian age with a sense of opening, really getting clear with their discernment, their boundaries, but also getting clear with their authenticity, where they want to be and what kind of, projection that they're putting out. And is this projection coming from childhood wounds, coming from past relationship, or is this coming from an actual clear place within you that's not influenced or pulled by the karmas of your parents or your childhood or, other people, the society that you live in? And those changes are happening for the collective. It's just, there's a sense of people's worth is just going to feel a lot higher. and moving into April, March, people's self-worth is going to feel a lot higher, or it's going to be higher in a way of like, I'm seeing the sword of truth. Like, it could be protest, it could be standing up for yourself, speaking. It could be like public, there's going to be an emphasis on public speaking moving forward. Public speakers. You're going to see a huge emphasis on public speaking, more podcasts, more communication, more sharing communication, more protests, more debates, right? More people coming together and speaking about what is wanky. Let's get the wankiness out of the sword, right? And then it's cutting through the BS, the belief systems, right? The judgments, right? It's cutting through the noise, the distractions, right? And it's getting into the light of like, okay, right? A sense of renewal that happens through sacred sexuality, being with like-minded people, friendship. But it's also about soulmates. There are soulmates that are coming together this year. Soulmates that are coming together. The tribe is coming together. Because there's a whole new lineages that want to be created on this planet. Whole new lineages that have not been allowed to be in the past. These lineages that want to be created for the future, right? These new generations and these they were not allowed. There's so much shame in our past. It was very hard to maneuver through so much limitation, racism, discrimination, hierarchical caste system, prejudice, segregation, or separation. Very difficult, but now there's a sense of like repairing of the lineage, and the lineages of particular groups of people that were very disabled in the past time are now allowed to recover, heal, and to restore the excellence. And it's that 10 of Cups is what that's about. It's creating something of substance with like-minded people. The law of attraction, I just keep seeing like Abraham Hicks, and something about people sharing ideas, people sharing philosophies, people sharing how they're able to manifest the law of attraction. Getting to know the laws of the universe. There's such an emphasis on learning the laws of the universe. Receiving the channel of that, having a meditation of that, learning that, sharing that. Okay, so let's go deeper. We have commitment. So definitely the 10 of Cups in the commitment card with this full moon in Leo is going to really potentiate people. I'm seeing June where people could be, I'm seeing June in proposals, engagements for people, in June. I'm seeing particularly this month seems very significant for some people. But this is also, I'm hearing really sacred unions of soulmates, of people that are coming together to really continue their awakening together, right? Awakening, there's so much, this is radiance. There's radiance in these partnerships. And there's also this immense love. There's a lot of love that wants to come through, a lot of willingness to shed light on who you are in a way of compassion, but also of integrity, or honesty, and really wanting to be seen, or really, wanting to see yourself first with the commitment card. And it's also being a commitment to, there's something I'm seeing, a key. So it's like the key to success is in love partnerships, or the key to success is in opening up your heart, is what I'm hearing for some people, right? The key to future success is really seeing how you can kind of get more in tune with that heart energy. And then we have magic prayer. Wow, so this is a real good time to really put out the prayer for a miracle or magic, or a lot of, again, this is the time of instant manifestation. So if we really go deep and really get honest and really kind of really become radiant and really put out there like, I am available, receptive to receiving something very magical into my life that is going to get me victory in what I'm trying to create, and really asking yourself what you want to create. And don't just, do it based on other people and what they've done. Do it based off an original place within you, like a Dr. Seuss place. When I mean Dr. Seuss, I mean a place in you that is like so raw, it's so real. It's nothing like anything that's ever been done. That's the place you need to go to. Don't go to the outer place where everybody else is doing the same thing. Go to the deeper, like the Dr. Seuss, or the what do you call the, I was thinking Winnie the Pooh. Like, go to that place where it's not an outer layer where there's an orbiting with other people and they're all kind of like watching each other and kind of mimicking. Go deeper. Go to something, create something out of nothing that hasn't been done. That's the kind of thing that I'm seeing with that magic prayer. It's like going deeper. If you think that you're, a type of goddess or a female, can you go in deeper into what it means to be a goddess or shameless? Something about going deeper into that. What does it mean to be shameless? Right? Don't just go for the outer layer or for what other people have said. See it for yourself by actually going into an intense place within you and feeling into it. Right? From a place of like just originality. Magic prayer. And then we have details and details. So this is about, again, we have the word clarity. It's like some people are going to get clarity about where they need to go, or they're already feeling clarity through good news that's coming in. But the details is also about really getting organized. It could be about delegating. It could be about planning. It could be about putting in applications, job interviews. But it's also about details as in there's a compass. So you're going to be directed to do something, or you're going to be directed to I'm seeing hard work. I'm seeing but work that is actually going to need organization. It's going to be planned. It's so many strategies that are happening that is going to bring about a real magical result. I'm also seeing the magic prayer as in, really, again, this woman seems shameless. Like, doesn't take anything personally. It's just doing her. So I feel like we're going to be really called. And look at her hair's loose. Right? With the hair loose like that, there's just something about letting the hair loose, not getting wrapped up in the astral realm, I like to say, of just all of the information, the noise, and the waste that's put out there as just, traumas, karmas, has nothing to do with you. Right? There's something about the green energy of the heart. Like, allow that green energy to be so sexually sacred and so sexually just, right, so like just like so refreshing for you that no matter what kind of karmas or whatever it is that's thrown at you, you can move in a way where you're not affected. I think that's a true resilience that we're being asked to have. But with this commitment, there's soulmates coming together, sacred partners that are coming together. And it's this full moon Leo that's really kind of sparking the desire, right? The desire to want to have more of intimacy or vulnerability in a way of communicating your heart's desires. There's something about communicating your heart's desire, communicating even, I'm hearing public speaking, but I'm also hearing really strategizing. It's like strategies are coming in for how to complete things or get things moving or going. And it's just going to come in like a magic prayer. Just going to come in. Let's see, I'm going to pull 2 more cards and then I'm going to close this out. But this reading looks really, really magical. It's because if you're putting magic into your projection, into your inner work, into your sacred bath, into your sacred sexuality, or your healing, or your forest bathing, or your Tai Chi, Reiki healing, if you're really connecting, putting magic into that root chakra by getting connected to the land, the ancestors, connected to the earth and the natural kind of, innocence of the earth, that you're going to feel such a magic presence move through your energy, through your mind. You're not going to feel clogged by this junk that is out there, that is just old. It's like old and stale and rotten. It's like we've been there, done like it's like rotten stuff. Don't go for rotten bread, stale bread. Don't go for that. Right? There's so much of that. It's like rotten, it's stale. It's like so stale that it's like stagnant. It's like dull. It's like no barren of life. There's no real future. There's no real inspiration. There's no real sense of, a real sense of self. It's like a clone. Let's not go for that. Right? So we have share your wisdom. Speaking, so much speaking, public speaking, share your wisdom. So many people will be doing that, sharing their wisdom. So many people are from so many different planetary systems, so many different dimensions. People are going to be sharing their wisdom. They're going to be encouraged to do new programs, new curriculums, and then apologize. This is about giving mercy to parents, past relationships, people that maybe really damaged you or really invited in like something that was so challenging to get over or to break through. It's very, very heavy programming, judgment, conditioning. And I think the mercy is about allowing yourself to see them for their healing, even if it's not this lifetime. Because everybody will be enlightened. Everybody will, raise their vibration, because that is what's natural. What is most natural about human beings is to be a creator. And we are not creator when we're just in this like hate and self-hate and all that kind of stuff. And then we put that onto our kids and put that onto other people. Right? What is most natural is to be a creator. So everybody will have that enlightenment this lifetime or next lifetime. So I think the mercy is like allowing ourselves to accept even the most gruesomest thing, so that we can continue on our path of becoming a real creator, and so that we can allow that person or whatever that experience to be something that is a part of our epiphany within our karma, and how we can, and karma is not necessarily like, the epiphany of our karma as in like, I deserve this or something like that, this is my karma. No, talking about the epiphany and like the karma as in like how these karmas that we carry on behalf of the collective of past lives, or childhood, or just things that we don't even know. It's so mysterious, these type of karmas, and allow it to be epiphany towards how can I be the revolution of these types of karmas that I experience and that other people most likely experience. That's a real kind of wisdom. That's a real sharing of wisdom. That's a real kind of breakthrough. We need more of that, because we can just get caught into the what happened. We can allow our whole life to just be, because that happened to me. Because that happened to me, I can't. And I think that is more of the downfall of humanity, where we allow the patriarchal age, the dark age, to kind of lead us astray into this destruction, this pollution, these chemicals, this avoidance, this pain that never goes away, this suffering. So by giving that mercy, it's like we're saying to ourselves and to just the collective, more than just that person, the collective of everyone, that I recognize that the true nature of human being is to have an enlightenment in this life, next life. And it's my responsibility to make sure that I can have an experience of my growth and of my healing, so that I am not continuing on in something. It could be the pain or the suffering in something that is causing me to delay or to destroy the path that wants me to be a creator, the path that's leading me to how I can become a creator. So these are the kind of messages for this full moon Leo that's happening for us, and it's very beautiful. There's so much sense of coming together with soulmates, coming together with our tribe, or being magnetic, coming together with more family, more friends, but it's coming together with like-minded people. It's very different. Make a wish. I just split the deck. Make a wish is really fertile time to make a wish and really be true about it. Be demanding about it. Be like, if I'm going to do the work and if I'm going to awaken myself, universe, right, I demand the wish fulfillment. There's something kind of a wish fulfillment that's coming through connections, collaborations, through even like relationships. Like romance is really, really powerful at this time, but romance that's really about like-minded people. It's different. It's romance where we're actually getting to get to know or get to connect with people that actually like that we can really be creative with, we can express ourselves with, we can really like be vulnerable with, and we also can support and feel supported. It's very kindred. It's very like we're allowing ourselves to be naked and allowing ourselves to clear away anything that's superficial, anything that's wanky, the noise, the restlessness, and we're starting to really like look at ourselves in the mirror and really look into our eyes and see the lifetimes, the karma, the childhood, and really see the kind of creativity, the kind of like authenticity that really wants to be expressed, and the kind of human that wants to be shameless. Right? We think that we're free. We think that, oh, I look at my mirror and I look so, but really when we go deeper, there's parts of ourselves that are not carefree, that are held back, that are held down, and we don't even realize it because we're so used to it. We've seen our parents and our grandparents be so tight and uptight and so judgmental, or so like take things offensively and so stuck in these relationships that are no good or whatever it is. Looking ourselves in the eyes and saying like, okay, can I say that I'm carefree in the mind, in my body, in my heart? Or is there something that, a judgment I'm holding on to? Can I really honestly say that I'm allowing myself to grow, or I'm allowing myself to be seen, or to be appreciated, or to do that for myself? Am I really allowing myself to really connect to the creativity that's so extraordinary within me that it requires me to be shameless? Because it's so extraordinary. If I have any ounce of shame or judgment, I will reject that creative extraordinary in me. And I think when we really get real from that place, it's like then we can start to have that epiphany towards the creative extraordinary that's there in our deep eyes, that is waiting to come through, but it's needing that shameless. It's needing that non-judgment so that it can come into the carefree parts in us. That is not taking things offensively. That's not holding on to things. That's not being other things outside of ourselves. But it's simply like looking into the eyes, looking to the creative extraordinary, dropping into it, laser focus on it, and then just allowing that to be a magic prayer. And allowing that root chakra, which is like being in the life, being in the courage, the resilience, the determination, or being in that kind of work ethic, or that kind of making a real like plan with it, like a real vision board, or real, sort of worth, like a self-psychology practice with it, like we're already having it, it's already here. The kind of real grand like affirmation, that real kind of law of attraction that we're doing just in plugging into how can I express this body every day in a way that's bringing me more into the projection that is a complete channel of that creative extraordinary. And regardless what difficulties or the adversities, where we're at, what we're doing, what we're not doing, that's enough to really potentiate us into a whole kind of realm, or a whole kind of like space where we are just going to be carried away by the extraordinary creative, because we open the door, we allowed ourselves to get in the vortex of it. The creative destiny, or creative extraordinary would just carry us, and all we have to do is just keep going with the pull of it, not resist, not break the current, not break out of the vortex, right? But to allow the vortex to continue to pull us, and we're just simply being pulled and doing the necessary kind of work or adjustments or shifts, so that we can kind of remain kind of obedient to what that creative extraordinary is asking for, even if it's uncomfortable. Because we know that creative extraordinary is bringing us to something that is actually going to give us a wisdom that comes it comes from the relationship that we have with ourselves, and that relationship with ourselves that also is shifting relationships into more of a radiance, of a intense joy, of a personal breakthrough, of an intimacy that leads into a sort of healing, or an honesty, or sort of a freedom to explore and to be supported in that. So yeah, this is the transmission. It's so powerful. So thank you.